My name is Michael J, and I'm going to play City Skylines on a brand new map that I've created myself. As you can see, it's a lot of rivers flowing through the map, and I imagine on the right side there's an ocean, and we'll see ships coming and hopefully build a city with harbors and trade. Stuff like that usually happens in real life when you're close to a coast. I enjoy building cities based on stories or how they would be probably created in real life as well. So this landscape is pretty suitable for a location that would trade from somewhere from the inlands, goods coming in, and harbors for international trade. So this is my challenge, and I hope you are going to enjoy the way I'm going to build the city and watching me make a lot of mistakes and fixing those mistakes as we all do in City Skylines. So I'm going to speed up the process of building the first part of the city, so enjoy watching me now. So for the start of new city, I usually pick a place where I can place an electricity power plant first and my water connections, and then I'm going to connect that to the highway wherever that is on a map, and from there things are starting to develop to wherever I think people would want to live and people want to work, or where jobs are being created. As you can see, I'm starting somewhere in the middle of the map with a larger road already, just to give me an indication of where the business center, the commercial center is going to be. And then I start making roads to a residential area, and from that to the industrial area where the people are going to work. Yeah, and then as I'm usually starting by spending all my money that I have, I try to make a mix of water connections and road connections, so I can get as much out of my money as I want to, and spend all the money for a quick start. Yeah, I typically zone manually the first couple of fields for residential and commercial and industrial to make sure that the electricity is flowing through the city as quickly as possible, and I don't get many complaints about that. And then I'm just adding roads for commercial and industrial parts before I run out of money. So I have a couple of fields that I can zone for that, and then let's see how far this goes. So now I am ready to start the game. I had paused the time for the initial phase, and yeah, as you can see, I have built my first part of potential residential areas, and I'm planning to have industry here and the commercial part here. And as it looks like the first person or the first people are going to move in soon. For those who have watched it, I have disabled or turned off the infrastructure buildings at the start, because I am usually spending all my money at the start. I don't want to go into debt too deep, and so I'm just turning off the buildings until I really need them. And it takes a week or two until people are starting to complain, and that saves me a few thousand of those sim dollars. So now we can speed up the process. I'm turning on the time and also speed up the time, slowly turning on my facilities. And then I noticed I need another building to make the connection for electricity. And as you can see now, yeah, the complaints are stopping. And we are off to a great start. People are moving in, and we can zone more areas as electricity is going through. And start zoning commercial and industrial areas. So also companies are starting to move in and creating jobs and selling goods, what my people need to feel happy to live in my city. Usually I'm getting really bored with the start of the game pretty quickly, because I want to actually build up a bigger city, so I'm speeding up the whole process a lot. And adding services as required. This also a little tip is, don't add services until they are really requested by the people, because every service is going to cost some money, and especially in the start phase you don't want to spend that money on something that isn't going to be used as Yeah, here's another tip for those who are struggling with money at the start, especially. Usually I do, and I want to spend, I want to grow as fast as possible, and I need money. So at the start I usually raise my taxes to 12% on all zones. Nobody is going to complain about that, and this is giving me 2,000 sim dollars every week now. This is quite nice. So usually I don't struggle with money long term in City Skylines. I don't look too close to my budgets, and this is just for the start. Maybe later I will reduce the taxes, maybe I don't, and just helps me kickstart my cities. Yeah, while the city is growing, I'm already laying the foundation for growing even further, by adding new water connections, adding new roads. And as you can see, I usually don't like to stick to the grid system for, at least not for more than a few blocks. And I try to open it up. Fire. Yeah, the fire department usually isn't needed right away. In this case, I was a bit unlucky to have needed it. But sooner or later we need it, so I spent a bit of money on it, and actually had to take a loan, but since I'm not really a responsible politician, I don't have a problem taking up some debt to make my city grow faster. Yeah, here you can see another industrial area that is going to be added pretty soon. Also, I try to work with wherever the map leads me. I'm going along the coastline in this case, and adding the streets as I see them fit, and if possible, not just with a strict block system, grid system, but opening up with some different angles, and also with not connecting every street to every other one, just trying to keep the number of crossings to a reasonable amount. And also with the big street, as you can see, that is going to go through or around the city at this stage. The big street shouldn't have too many connections, and when it does have a crossing, I try to consider if a one-way road is a good solution for that spot, to avoid having too many crossings with traffic lights, as those are going to keep up the traffic at a little bit later in the game. And that's why I try to avoid crossings if possible, or traffic lights at least if possible, with either one-way roads or just moving the street crossings as far apart as possible. I hope that makes sense what I'm saying. I think we will have time in later videos to have a closer look to what I'm doing in those cases. For the start, I'm just doing it as quickly as possible, even if I screw up some straight lines sometimes, as you can see, but just to speed up the process. Yeah, well, it's achievement time, 2,400 population in about 9 months of playtime. So I think in real time it was slightly less than an hour. And as you can see, the city is growing quickly, and I'm pretty happy so far. And my first initial tile of the city is not really full yet, but I'm getting close to filling it up with potential living space and working spaces. And yeah, I think this is a great time to make a cut for the video, and I hope you'll join me again for the next video, when we are going to grow even further, and then we'll think about expanding the city to another tile. See you then, hopefully, and in the meantime, I'd be happy to see you like, comment, or subscribe my channel. Thanks a lot. See you next time. Bye.